Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I'm delighted to be welcoming someone whose journey is fascinating for us and also a source of inspiration on certain levels. I have the pleasure of welcoming Yugal Kishore, who is leading ISKCON's Farmington Hills, Michigan um, organization. Uh, his face tells you that he is at peace with himself. But whether he's really at peace with himself or not, we'll try to dig into that side. So let us begin with your attire, Yugalji. Yugal Kishore name itself is a reminder of Lord Krishna. When did you discover your devotion for Lord Krishna?
Indians are usually pious, very pious. So I'm from pious background. But 1996, I got a job in Singapore as software consultant. So I was working that time with the Development Bank of Singapore. Then I happened to meet some devotees practicing Krishna Bhakti. Then I came in touch with them, and that's how my interest grew. Eventually, I got a job in America, and I started working with MetLife insurance company in upstate New York. Later, after working for some time, I decided to join full time as a monk. That was in year 2002.
So let us hold a minute here and try to understand what was going on in your mind. You were a computer guy coming from technical background. With insurance company also you were, I think, taking care of their computer related needs. Now, typically speaking, most of the engineers coming from India, they are aware of the dollar conversion rate. They have family members. They come with certain dreams, and coming from Singapore, another commercial capital kind of place. What was it about your love for Krishna which was not possible to sustain being in the role of a householder? Uh, so the complete transition to monk. Let me try and understand what was it that shifted your perception about life.
Thank you very much. 2001, I was with MetLife software division as a software consultant, and 2001 March, something interesting happened. One day, I opened a New York Times newspaper in the morning, 9 o'clock in the office, and I read Ronald Reagan fell in the bathroom and broke his hip. And all the Nancy Reagan, the former lady, first lady of America, she was requesting all the Americans to please pray for her husband. So when I was reading this article, I thought, this thought came in my mind. If I go to hospital and tell him, sir, you were a Hollywood star for a few decades, means you have so much money and so much sense enjoyment, and more than anything, you're very famous all over the world. That's what people want today. You have all of them. And one thing was missing that time, power. Sir, 2 times California, you are California governor, and 2 times American president. Honestly speaking, we cannot prepare a resume like this today, generate a resume like that. So if I go to hospital and tell him, sir, think of those good olden days, and you forget today suffering, what would he say? Suddenly it came into my mind. He would tell me, how much I enjoyed yesterday, it will not compensate today's suffering. This one line flashed in my mind. Then I thought, I came to America to make money, and definitely I cannot make billions the way he did. For him, it's happening now. For me, the same thing will happen after 30 years, 30, 40 years. That time, how much ever money I have in the bank, that will not help me. I already read Gita by the time. Gita says you are not the body, but a spirit soul within. So this body is a machine. For example, this glass, it lasts maybe 5, 6 years. This table, 40 years. The computer, 6 years. The cell phone, 4, 5 years. Like this body also is a machine. It has a period of life. After that, it doesn't, after that it has to end. So I told myself, yesterday's happiness will not compensate today's suffering. So when the body starts failing, how much or money I have in the bank, definitely suffering is inevitable for me. There is something else. As I said, I already read Gita, which told me unlike the body and spirit soul. Then I told myself, why don't I do research um, into the life and prove myself I'm not the body but spirit soul based on Gita. When this thought came, I pondered on that again and again and again. Eventually, a year later, I gave up my job and became a monk and never looked back.
I think I am kind of somewhere at the space where I can see what makes that uh, transition in someone's life, but you pointed out about Ronald Reagan and the importance of now. So what you have now is important. Yet it will not sit with many people. They want to enjoy now, so they don't consider what will happen in the future at the moment. That is one side. Secondly, most of us are keen on having possessions, as you mentioned in the case of Ronald Reagan, also money, power, and sensual pleasures. Also, that's what most of the humans seek. Now, to have the kind of vairagya or detachment, as you mentioned with your contemplation on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Arjuna wants to go back, and Lord Krishna inspires him to act. Uh, so again, to cut a long story short, Bhagavad Gita is also talking about action and leading action oriented life and doing your duty, etc. So, talk to me about where you got that sense of detachment, because prior to this conversation, I came to know you don't even have any bank account in your name. So that means you have least hankering for uh, material possessions, is what my impression is. So how that came about, and let us also connect this with the devotional aspect, where you have the joy of being in tune to Sri Krishna, or call it Krishna consciousness. So I'm kind of uh, increasing the length of my questions, but let me now bring to the two sides. One is the devotional side, where you have just the joy of being in the remembrance of the Lord. Another is action side. How do you find the balance between the two? In your case, again, about that element of detachment involves your family members prior to this avatar as monk.
So many questions he asked.
Yeah.
So I'll try to answer one by one. First thing is, when I decided like that, I didn't have enough strength to do it. I also got used to credit card, got used to car and American life by that time. So um, when I was pondering like that, can I do it or not? Can I do it or not? Eventually happened to come across my spiritual master, who later became a guru. That's where probably I got strength. And a few months later, I thought, let me experience, let me try for a month and see. I should not regret later, that life. How does it look, that monk life? So I made sort of my mind, and I've decided to join full time, but still that little fear was there. So what I did at 2002 March, I drove to the hills of West Virginia. We have a monastery there, and I thought, let me spend a month time whether I can fit in this, because I was a little scared, I'm not having money, and then somebody will control you for next 30 years. And plus, as I told you, I got used to all the American life of car, cell phone, and the money. Then, so let me try this. In 1 month, I went and tried. I think in 2 weeks, I realized after going there, it's late. I should have come here long ago. And I made up my mind in 2 weeks. So this is what I've been looking for. And I became a monk, and since then I never looked forward. But I just want to add another question. Your another question. There's the answer. Action. Honestly speaking, Bhagavad Gita, yes, third chapter Karma Yoga, fourth chapter Jnana Yoga, sixth chapter Ashtanga Yoga, 12th chapter and the rest of the chapters Bhakti Yoga. So Bhagavad Gita, I mean, everyone does not need to do what I did. Stay where you are, and you can, in fact, Bhagavad Gita speaks of that. You can utilize that action for the pleasure of Supreme. Yajnardat karmano niyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Our activity, if we utilize for the pleasure of God, say Krishna, then what happens is that action sums up in transcendence. It ends up in transcendence. It becomes spiritual. So yes, society does need engineers. Society does need doctors, professionals, and lecturers and teachers. But society also needs a monk who will tell you how to spiritualize your actions, so that you don't need to get stuck in a secular birth and death, and you can attain liberation and love of God, and you can go back to spiritual world. So you need one person to do that. So yeah.
Yes, let me learn a little bit about your guru and in our Sanatan tradition. Much cannot be said about the significance, importance, and the role that guru plays in the transformation and growth or evolution of the soul. And I understand your guru is not just very well known through his books, through his speeches, Journey Home, Journey Within, etc. And he has also been the mentor or the guru for now very, very viral Guruji from Haryana,
Gaur Gopal.
And Jay Shetty also.
Jay Shetty.
So now you are also there. And we will talk about your books later, but talk to me about what was it about him which helped you intensifying your surrender for Lord Krishna.
Yeah. So when I happened to meet him in sometime 2001, there was a New York Rath Yatra. This is very famous in New York actually. 10-15,000 people come. So it comes on the weekend, so it was holiday, so I went to attend that, and I happened to see him. And I've been listening to his lectures, and when I saw him, wow, so I decided, I've been listening to him, but when I really saw him, I think this is my spiritual master. And to pursue the path of Bhakti Yoga, you need a spiritual teacher, spiritual guru, and he's the one. So I made up my mind that day, and eventually I received initiation, Diksha from him. And I think his blessings, and ISKCON, we as a tradition, we are a lineage from our sampradaya is directly from Krishna himself. And Lord Chaitanya, actually Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Krishna gave knowledge to Brahma, and Brahma gave knowledge to Madhva, Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. And in that same lineage, Madhvacharya comes, and in the same lineage, Lord Chaitanya also comes. So Swami Prabhupada came to America, and he said, I am a 32nd guru in the lineage, they're coming from God himself, Krishna himself. So my guru is actually Swami Prabhupada's disciple, and I'm an American, of course, by birth, and a Jew by birth. Can you believe? I learned the glory of Sanatan Dharma, glory of quote-unquote Hinduism from an American, and that a Jew. And of course, he has been practicing Sanatan Dharma, the Bhakti tradition past 50 plus years, living in India. Being a Jew, being an American from Jewish tradition, he has been practicing this for so many decades. So very accomplished gentleman. And I think once I received that initiation diksha from him, I think I got convinced of the process, and that's when I jumped into this, and then never looked back. Actually.
So you didn't look back, but I'm trying to look back so that we move forward. And while moving forward, whether it is Hare Rama Hare Krishna tradition or general bhakti, chanting is very important. Talk to me about your inner experience of. I'm kind of assuming that your initial days must have been very continuous chanting, and how chanting Lord's name works on human mind. What has been your own experience?
Okay, thank you. Um, uh, it's a process. Our first arti, we call it service in America. It starts at 5 a.m. So what we do is this mantra meditation plays a vital role in our life. Manastrayata iti mantra. Mantra helps you control your mind. Man means mind, tra means liberates. So mantra helps you control your mind. Spirituality is more or less uh, all about controlling your mind so that you will go beyond the mind and intelligence and ego. That's where the soul is situated, and you reach, you access, and realize you're not the body but a spirit soul. So we rise very early in the morning, very early in the morning, way before 5 a.m. and we bathe our consciousness with mantra, this mantra that we are given actually. And it's very famous. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This mantra is given in Kalisantran Upanishad and
Which Upanishad?
Kalisantran Upanishad. So this is Upanishad that's meant for the age of people of Kali, that is meant for this Kali Yuga people. And, actually, and if I take 1 minute,
Please.
Narad Muni comes and meets Brahma. Mandasu Mandamataya Mandavagya Upatrita Prayana Alpayashikala Sabhyasvan Yugajana. Father, he asked this question to Brahma. Kali Yuga is coming. People of this age are very dour. Even somebody sincere, they're misguided. Sumandamate. And people of this age are very unfortunate. Mandavagya. And what is the quality of Kali Yuga? Anxiety, upatruta. Right now I'm fine, but what will happen after a few years? So anxiety is a symptom of Kali Yuga. When they have this many problems, how are they going to attain peace within? And end of the life, how are they going to attain liberation and go back to Godhead? Then now Brahma replies, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti Shodasakam Namnam Kalikalmashanasnam Nata Parataropaya Sarvete Shudrishate. This you go and tell, propagate this mantra, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, Kali Yuga. And this mantra, anybody who chants, it will cleanse their heart and it will awaken the love of God. It will help them control the mind. It will burn their bad karma, and it will untie the knots of mental existence, and they go forward in their spiritual life, and eventually they'll go back to Godhead, spiritual world, Krishna Loka or Vaikuntha we call it. So that is a mantra we do. We invest a few hours every day, individually and collectively, and we observe ourselves in the mantra meditation in the early hours of the morning. And then we have our other services, and every day we have Srimad Bhagavatam class.
Let me also request you to share. You mentioned about individually and collectively. What is the difference, and what is the importance of having this collective chanting? And many of us have seen the abundant, joyful dance of devotees at Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna temples. So, talk to me about that difference between individual sadhana as well as this collective.
Collective is called when you do it alone, it's called mantra meditation. But when you do it together, it's called sankirtan. When people come together, then especially when there is music behind and instruments, and everyone come together with one intention to glorify that Supreme Lord in the form of His name. Then what happens is it awakens that unlimited joy. I have to tell you this. This is not any other mantra. Golokira Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. This mantra, Lord Chaitanya brought it directly from Krishna Loka. and it's a Premadan of Krishna Loka. He brought it to this world, and he spread it across. He gave it free of cost. He said, if you follow this, it'll cleanse your heart, awaken that love of God, that awakens the joy of self-realization, and you'll go back to Godhead. So he did this with the animals of Jharkhand forest when he was here. And he infused that love and the joy in the heart of everyone who chanted and this mantra. So that's why you can see we have probably 800 temples all over the world, across the globe, so many countries, more than 120 countries. And this Sanatana Dharma is practiced by everyone, irrespective of their denomination. But their birth can be, it can be anything, maybe Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whatever may be the tradition. But they, when they take it up, they experience this joy. That's why, even though today the days are very difficult, still we are making progress. The reason is people experience the joy. You transcend the platform of mind, and you go beyond intelligence and ego, and it will touch the soul. That's what you are telling.
So the joy is visible on your face also, and I am sure our viewers are also getting a taste of it. So
before
before
we
we
conclude,
conclude,
would
would
you
you
like
like
to
to
chant
chant
for a
for a
minute
minute
or
or
something?
something?
Typically,
Typically,
the
the
way
way
you
you
chant
chant
collectively,
collectively,
and I
I
believe
believe
it
it
will
will
help
help
some of
some of
our
our
viewers
viewers
to
to
hear
hear
from
Why
you.
not? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ram Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ram Ramo, Hare Hare.
beautiful, beautiful.
And
And
before
before
we
we
conclude,
conclude,
briefly
briefly
speaking,
speaking,
you
you
are
are
also
also
discharging
discharging
certain
certain
responsibilities
responsibilities
as
as
the
the
president
president
of
of
ISKCON
ISKCON
Farmington
Farmington
Hills,
Hills,
Michigan,
Michigan,
and
and
you
you
have
have
also
also
written
written
that
that
we'll
we'll
be
be
talking
talking
about
about
in
in
other
other
programs.
programs.
So
So
one
one
is
is
on
on
anger
anger
management,
management,
time
time
management,
management,
and
and
stress
stress
management.
management.
Probably
Probably
there are
there are
more.
more.
So
So
how
how uh,
it is
it is
easy or
easy or
difficult
difficult
for a
for a
monk
monk
to
to
be
be
managing
managing
affairs
affairs
which
which
otherwise
otherwise
like
like
people
people
coming
coming
from
from
different
different
backgrounds
backgrounds
also
also
playing
playing
similar
similar
roles.
roles.
If you're spiritually very strong, if you find the peace within, you'll be able to handle others' emotions. Today, sir, the problem is universities are telling, social media is telling, everyone is telling you're this body, you make money and you'll be happy. Or have sensual enjoyment and you'll be happy. Honestly speaking, that's not right. Gita says you're not the body but spirit soul. And when we go for sensual enjoyment or mental enjoyment or intellectual enjoyment, that's where soul doesn't enjoy. You give me a glass, so there is water inside, and body is like a covering. If you are going for you're eating nice thing, so the inside actual thing is inside. But if you are licking the glass, you will not find happiness. You have to really uncork the bottle. If it's a honey bottle, uncork it, remove the cap, put your finger, then lick it. So what we are telling, everyone is telling, you're this body, you're this body. You're trying to lick the bottle and trying to find happiness. But the result is what? We are trying to impress others. We are happy by showing Tesla and a big palatial mansion and a big fatty paycheck and other things. But the joy is not a product. It's available in the Target or Walmart. Joy is a state of consciousness. Happiness is not a product, but it is a state of consciousness. You have attained it. Even if you don't have anything in this world, you have attained it. Or you have everything in this world, still you have not attained it. You have not attained it.
So
So
what
what
we
we
attain
attain
is
is
our
our
own
own
journey,
journey,
and
and
we
we
were
were
fortunate
fortunate
to
to
be
be
listening
listening
about
about
the
the
journey
journey
of
of
a
a
monk
monk
from
from
Yugal
Yugal
Kishore
Kishore
Das
Das
ji.
ji.
It has
It has
been
been
really,
really,
really
really
nice
nice
to
to
learn
learn
about
about
various aspects of your life as a monk also. And we'll be talking about your other books down the line. I sincerely thank you for joining us and being here. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. With lots of good wishes and love. Namaste.